Hello everyone. What's up? Welcome to GMA 24 Update News Channel. Hope you will enjoy our news video. Before we begins, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Here is the news title. The Chase's Bradley Walsh abruptly halts show, as player's confession leaves him shocked. Bradley Walsh brought the chase to an abrupt pause after learning what a contestant planned to do with his winnings. Bradley Walsh was forced to cut off a player as he brought the chase to a sudden halt. Wednesday's installment, February 5th, of the ITV quiz show saw the presenter welcome 4 contestants who attempted to outrun Sean Wallace. The final player to take on the Dark Destroyer was Joe, a chemical engineer from Oxford. Before he attempted the cash builder, the 32-year-old chatted to Bradley about what he planned to spend the money on if he won. Joe explained, "My partner and I are planning a long trip to Australia. We're going to quit our jobs and move to Australia. We want to quit our jobs and drive a lap of the country in a camper van." As the contestant told Bradley that he would be putting any money he walked home with towards that trip, the presenter felt he had no choice but to step in. Wait, the 64-year-old declared. Making sure he hadn't misheard Joe, Bradley asked, "A lap of the country?" Joe revealed this is exactly what he meant, adding, "It's 15 kilometers, it's pretty far." The Gladiators host agreed. "I was just about to say, that's a long, long way, isn't it?" The last player to step up to the mark, Joe was hoping to join David, the only one of his teammates who made it through to the final chase. Beth, 28, was the first player to take on Sean, after earning just $2,000 in the cash builder. The events manager revealed that she was always going to take the low offer if it was positive. However, even this wasn't enough to outrun the chaser as the $200 was taken away from her. Following Beth was Sarah, who shocked her co-stars when he chose the high offer of $45,000. Things looked to be going well for the leadership coach. However, her hopes were snatched away as Sean caught up with her. The third contestant to play was David, a retired activities coordinator from Angus. The 73-year-old made it through to the final chase with $4,000 and ended up playing alone after Joe was also caught. David answered just 8 questions correctly in the final chase, but despite executing a number of pushbacks, was caught by Sean with 33 seconds remaining. Walsh abruptly halts show as player's confession leaves him shocked. Bradley Walsh brought the chase to an abrupt pause after learning about a contestant's surprising plans for his potential winnings. Viewers of the popular ITV quiz show were left in stitches as the 64-year-old presenter struggled to process the contestant's bold ambitions. Wednesday's installment, February 5, of The Chase, saw Bradley welcome 4 contestants, all eager to take on the formidable Sean Wallace, also known as the Dark Destroyer. Each player had their sights set on outrunning the chaser and securing a spot in the final round. However, it was the last contestant, Joe, whose unexpected revelation led to an amusing moment of disbelief for Bradley. Joe's big plans shock Bradley. Joe, a 32-year-old chemical engineer from Oxford, took to the podium as the final player of the night. As per tradition, before the cash builder round, Bradley engaged in some light-hearted conversation, asking contestants about their backgrounds and what they would do with their winnings. With a casual yet excited demeanor, Joe revealed, "My partner and I are planning a long trip to Australia. We're going to quit our jobs and move there. We want to buy a camper van and drive a lap of the country." Bradley, visibly taken aback, raised his eyebrows and tilted his head slightly, clearly needing a moment to process what Joe had just said. Wait. Hold on a second," Bradley interjected, waving his hands in the air. "Did you just say, a lap of the country?" Joe, slightly amused by Bradley's reaction, nodded enthusiastically. "Yep, that's right. We plan to drive all the way around Australia. It's around 15,000 kilometers. It's pretty far." Bradley blinked a few times, attempting to grasp the sheer scale of the journey. 15,000 kilometers? Are you serious? He exclaimed. That's not a road trip. That's an odyssey. That's like saying, I fancy a little walk, and then marching across Europe. Laughter erupted from the audience as Joe chuckled at the host's bewilderment. Yeah, I know it's a long way, but it's something we've always wanted to do. We figured now's the time. The game begins. After the entertaining exchange, Joe finally took on the cash builder round. He managed to earn a respectable $6,000, setting himself up for an intense head-to-head battle against Sean Wallace. Meanwhile, Bradley, still seemingly stuck on the idea of driving around Australia, muttered under his breath, "A lap of the country. Blimey, that's mad." The audience giggled as Joe prepared to face Sean, who was introduced with his usual air of quiet intimidation. "Joe," Sean greeted him, "that's quite the adventure you have planned. But first, let's see if you can make it past me." Sean then presented Joe with 3 offers. The standard offer of $6,000, a lower offer of $1,000, and a tempting high offer of $50,000. Joe briefly considered his options, looking toward his teammate David, who had already secured a place in the final chase, before making his decision. "I'm going to stick with my $6,000. I'd love to go for the $50,000, but I want to make sure I get through." The other contestants' journeys, Joe was the last contestant of the night, following 3 others who had already faced Sean. The first player, Beth, a 28-year-old events manager, had a rough start. She earned only $2,000 in the cash builder and decided to take the lower offer of $200. However, even this wasn't enough to secure her a spot in the final chase, as Sean swiftly eliminated her. Sarah, the second contestant, surprised both her fellow contestants and Bradley when she boldly went for the high offer of $45,000. "Sarah, that is brave," Bradley commented, visibly impressed. "I like your style." Unfortunately, despite a strong start, Sarah was caught just 2 questions away from safety, leaving the team down by another player. David, a 73-year-old retired activities coordinator from Angus, was the only one who managed to make it through. Earning $4,000 in the cash builder, he played it safe with his middle offer and secured a place in the final chase. Now, all hopes rested on Joe. Joe's fate is sealed. Despite a valiant effort, Joe struggled against Sean's quick responses. After a few costly errors, he was eventually caught, leaving David to face the final chase alone. As Joe shook hands with Bradley and Sean, the host sighed dramatically. "Well, Joe, you won't be driving around Australia just yet, mate. But, hey, maybe you can cycle around Oxford instead." The audience erupted into laughter as Joe grinned and waved goodbye. The final chase, with only David left, he faced an uphill battle against Sean. He managed to answer 8 questions correctly in the final chase, putting up a commendable effort. Despite executing several pushbacks, he was ultimately caught by Sean with 33 famous pal told him to quit game shows. Better than that, Bradley Walsh revealed that his famous pal urged him to give up hosting game shows in an unearthed interview. Bradley shared that his close friend, actor Ray Winstone, advised him to focus on acting rather than presenting TV game shows during the early days of his career. The former professional footballer has enjoyed a varied career, becoming well known for his roles as Danny Baldwin in Coronation Street, DS, Ronnie Brooks in Law & Order UK, and Graham O'Brien in Doctor Who. However, he is equally recognized for his game show hosting duties, particularly as the face of The Chase, and more recently, The Gladiators reboot, which he co-hosts with his son, Barney Walsh. Before landing the hosting role on Wheel of Fortune in 1997, Bradley was considering his career path when Ray Winstone, famed for his performances in films such as The Departed, 2006, and Black Widow, 2021, stepped in with some tough advice. In a candid 2017 interview with the Sunday Telegraph, Bradley recalled a conversation that took place after a celebrity football match over a post-match beer. "Ray says to me, 'What you doing, Brad? You've got to pack in them game shows. You're better than that. Do a bit of acting now before it's too late.'" Bradley took Winston's advice to heart and auditioned for a role in Guy Ritchie's cult classic Snatch, which starred Brad Pitt, and his old footballing mate, Vinnie Jones. He was set to join the film until Richie discovered Bradley was about to present Wheel of Fortune. He rings up, says, "You can't be in the film. You're not going to bring it any credibility." Despite this setback, Bradley went on to have a successful career in television, balancing both game show hosting and acting. His performances in dramatic roles such as Law & Order, UK, and The Larkins, ITV's adaptation of The Darling Buds of May, proved that he had serious acting chops. Nevertheless, game shows remained a significant part of his career. Bradley became a household name as the host of The Chase, a role that showcased his quick wit, charisma, and ability to entertain. He later expanded his quiz show empire with Beat the Chasers, and now co-hosts the revamped Gladiators with Barney, cementing his status as one of Britain's most beloved TV personalities. Reflecting on his career, Bradley has often spoken about how he never planned to become a game show host, but ultimately embraced the opportunities that came his way. While Ray Winstone saw greater potential in him as an actor, Bradley's versatility has allowed him to enjoy success in both fields, proving that sometimes taking the unexpected path leads to remarkable achievements. As Bradley continues to juggle acting and hosting, his ability to thrive in both realms speaks volumes about his talent and adaptability. Whether he's making audiences laugh on The Chase or delivering a gripping performance in a drama, he remains a true entertainer. News at heart. ITV GMB viewers switch off immediately over Prince Harry and Meghan's segment. Prince Harry was the topic of discussion on ITV's Good Morning Britain, but fans were not happy. One topic of conversation on Good Morning Britain today was Prince Harry facing a legal battle to be able to stay in the United States, and it left fans fuming. Presenter Charlotte Hawkins presented a news segment on the ITV show where she explained, "Prince Harry faces a legal battle to stay in the U.S. A court in Washington, D.C. have claimed that the Duke of Sussex denied past use of drugs, including cocaine and marijuana, when he applied to live in." She went on to detail that in Harry's best-selling tell-all memoir, Spare, he had written about drug use. The ITV host then cut to U.S. correspondent Noel Phillips, who was live in the States. Charlotte asked if there is a chance that Harry could be thrown out of America. The reporter replied, "Well, if the judge in this case decides to overturn his ruling from a year ago and orders to release Prince Harry's immigration records, then, in theory, the prince could be forced to pack his bags. But this all hinges on questions he answered on his visa application 5 years ago." It seems, however, that some fans at home were not impressed with the coverage and threatened to switch off from the ITV show. Taking to X, formerly Twitter, one wrote, "I see now Honor GMB is promoting this nonsense with Noel Phillips in Washington stalking Prince Harry again with this pause Connor Nasty Neil. Even when this is found to be pointless, they're still gonna cry." A second complained, "GMB every time I watch our GMB when they talk about Prince Harry or Meghan, it always rip or berates the couple at every opportunity." One more penned, "It's laughable the lengths people will go to in order to keep Harry in the news. How many other non-American musicians and actors have a history with drugs? Are they going to kick all of them out too?" GMB. However, others sided with the broadcasters and news reports, with one saying, "Maybe he should have been honest on his visa about taking the white powder then." Another echoed, "He lied on his visa application. That's pretty ridiculous for someone in the public." The couple are laughable.